Across our planet, some rivers do more than carry water. They carry the hopes, prayers, and histories of entire civilizations. Flowing through the heart of continents, these rivers have shaped not only the land, but the very soul of the people who live beside them. Their banks have witnessed the rise and fall of empires, the birth of legends, and the quiet moments of everyday devotion. These are the world's sacred rivers, places where humans have sought not just sustenance, but a connection to the divine. Here, water is more than a resource. It is a living symbol of purity, transformation, and the eternal cycle of life and death. For millions, the journey to these waters is a pilgrimage, a quest for cleansing, healing, and spiritual renewal. Each step toward the river is a step toward something greater than oneself, a search for meaning and belonging in a world that is ever-changing. Imagine standing at dawn by a river that has witnessed centuries of devotion, its currents echoing with the prayers of generations. The air is thick with the scent of incense and the soft murmur of chants, as the first light of day dances on the water's surface. These rivers are living sanctuaries, winding through cities and landscapes, each bend holding a story, each ripple a whispered prayer. They are the silent witnesses to countless acts of faith, hope, and remembrance. To visit such a river is to step into a stream of time, feeling the presence of those who came before and those yet to come. The water connects generations, linking the past, present, and future in a single flowing embrace. In this exploration, we'll travel to the Ganges in India, the Jordan River, and the ancient Nile in Egypt. Each of these rivers has shaped the spiritual landscape of its people, inspiring rituals, myths, and traditions that endure to this day. Each river has its own sacred traditions, yet all are seen as conduits of grace, places where the boundary between earth and the divine feels thin. Here, the ordinary becomes extraordinary, and the mundane is touched by the sacred. Join us as we journey to these hallowed waters, discovering why they remain at the heart of humanity's spiritual quest. Through their stories, we find reflections of our own longing for connection, meaning, and transcendence. The river becomes a mirror, reflecting not just the sky above but the deepest parts of the human spirit. In its depths, we see our own hopes, fears, and dreams flowing onward. It is a journey worth taking, even if only in our imagination. Let us begin, and allow the sacred waters to guide us on a path of discovery and wonder. Why does water hold such a sacred place in so many cultures across continents and centuries? The answer is as profound as life itself, woven into the very fabric of our existence. Water is the source of all life. Without it, nothing survives. Every living thing, from the smallest seed to the largest animal, depends on water's gift. Our ancestors saw how rivers brought fertility to the land, how springs in the desert were miracles that sustained entire communities. This primal connection is the root of water's spiritual power, shaping rituals and beliefs for thousands of years. But water is more than life-giving. It's a symbol of purification, of washing away the old and welcoming the new. Washing with water is both a physical and spiritual act, a way to start anew, to cleanse not just the body but the mind and heart. In many faiths, water cleanses not just the body but the soul, preparing us for prayer, meditation, or sacred moments. Immersion in holy rivers becomes a symbolic rebirth, a chance to leave behind the old self and emerge transformed. Across the world, this symbolism is woven into belief systems: baptism in Christianity, wudu in Islam, a dip in the Ganges in Hinduism, and countless other traditions that honor water's sacred role. These are living traditions, practiced by billions today, connecting generations through shared rituals. Water acts as a bridge between the physical and the spiritual, a meeting point of earth and the divine. When a pilgrim approaches a sacred river, they seek not just water but renewal, forgiveness, and grace. The river's flow reminds us of time's passage, the cycles of life, and the eternal nature of the divine. The holiness of water is a universal language every human heart understands, uniting us in reverence for this most essential element. No river is as deeply woven into the spiritual life of a people as the Ganges is with India. For thousands of years, its waters have shaped not just the land, but the very soul of a nation. The Ganges is more than a river. It is a living thread connecting generations, beliefs, and traditions. To Hindus, she is Ganga Ma, a living goddess whose waters bring purity and salvation. Every ritual, every prayer offered on her banks is a gesture of deep reverence, a hope for blessings and forgiveness. Her journey from the Himalayas to the sea is a sacred narrative, her banks a place of blessing and hope for liberation. The river's story is told in ancient texts, sung in hymns, and lived out in daily rituals. Pilgrims travel from across India and the world to cities like Varanasi, seeking to bathe in her waters, perform rites, or simply pray. The river draws people of all backgrounds, united by faith and longing. Bathing in the Ganges is believed to wash away sins and purify the soul. For many, a single dip is a lifelong dream, a moment of spiritual renewal and hope for a better future. At dawn, the Ghats are alive with devotion. Bells ring, mantras echo, and pilgrims offer water to the rising sun. The air is thick with incense and the promise of new beginnings. Some pray in silence, others celebrate joyfully, all united in a moment of transformation. The river becomes a stage for both quiet reflection and exuberant worship. The river accepts all, nurturing and purifying without judgment. From the young to the old, from the devout to the curious, all are welcome in her embrace. Amidst the chaos of modern life, stepping into her waters brings a profound calm. The Ganges offers a rare moment of peace, a chance to reconnect with something greater than oneself. For many, the Ganges is not just a river, it is the living embodiment of the divine. Her presence is a reminder of the sacred woven into the fabric of everyday life. Here, the worries of the world seem to wash away with the current. In her flow, people find not just cleansing, but a sense of belonging, hope, and spiritual renewal. The Ghats of the Ganges are more than steps. They're a stage for rituals that affirm faith and tradition. As the sun rises, priests assist pilgrims with offerings, incense fills the air, and marigold baskets float on the water. The sounds, chanting, bells, conch shells, and prayers, create a symphony of devotion. Evening brings the Ganga Arti, a spectacular ceremony of fire and sound, as priests move lamps in unison, and thousands watch in awe. These daily rituals connect people to their river and their faith in tangible ways. Each act, from a simple flower offering to witnessing the Arti, deepens the spiritual journey. On the Ghats, faith is not just believed, it's lived and expressed with every sunrise and sunset. In contrast to the mighty Ganges, the Jordan River is a modest stream winding through an ancient landscape. Its waters are humble, but for Christians, this is where Jesus was baptized, a moment that transformed the river into a sacred site. Pilgrims from around the world come to the Jordan, seeking connection with the roots of their faith. At sites like Qasr al-Yahud and Bethany beyond the Jordan, the atmosphere is one of quiet reverence. Pilgrims gather to read scripture, pray, and reaffirm baptismal vows, often immersing themselves in the same waters as Jesus. The experience is one of personal renewal, not celebration, a washing away of the past, and a recommitment to faith. The ancient landscape with its reeds and dusty banks feels unchanged by time. Here the stories of the Bible come alive and the humble river carries the weight of an entire religion. The Jordan is a place where faith feels tangible and history is ever present. For many, the journey to the Jordan River begins in childhood stories and scripture, long before seeing its waters. The river first exists in the imagination, a place of spiritual power. The physical journey, through the arid Jordan Valley, feels like traveling through history. The river's small size and humble appearance remind pilgrims that sacredness often lies in simplicity. At the water's edge, peace and stillness invite deep reflection. Entering the water is a sensory climax, cool, grounding, and profoundly moving. Many describe feeling washed clean, renewed, and connected to God and the history of their faith. The white robe worn becomes a symbol of purity and new beginnings. Leaving the Jordan, pilgrims carry a renewed spirit and a memory that lingers long after. The humble river leaves an indelible mark, a quiet echo of a sacred moment. The Nile is more than a river. It's the lifeblood of Egypt, a green ribbon through the desert. For ancient Egyptians, the Nile was a god, a creator, and the source of all life. Its annual floods brought fertility, making civilization possible and inspiring awe and worship. The river was a pathway between life and the afterlife, mirrored in the journey of the sun, god Ra. Temples and tombs rose along its banks, making a journey on the Nile a pilgrimage through sacred history. Today, sailing the Nile is a journey into the past, a living museum of timeless scenes and enduring legacy. The experience is peaceful and meditative, connecting travelers to generations who lived and dreamed along its banks. the Nile remains the eternal giver of life, shaping Egypt's spirit across millennia. A modern pilgrimage on the Nile is a journey of reflection, moving at the river's gentle pace. The lush green banks stand in stark contrast to the desert, a reminder of the Nile's power to create life. The sensory details, the warmth of the sun, the cool breeze, the sounds and smells, immerse travelers in the landscape. Visiting ancient temples inspires awe at the devotion and ingenuity of those who built them. Standing before colossal statues or walking through Karnak's halls, one feels both small and deeply connected to history. The Nile links our modern world to the ancient, reminding us of shared hopes and dreams. This journey teaches patience, humility, and respect for the enduring bond between people and their environment. The river is the center of Egypt's universe, shaping both survival and spiritual imagination. To sail its waters is to understand why it remains so deeply sacred. The Nile's legacy is not just history, it's a living testament to humanity's quest for meaning. From the vibrant ghats of the Ganges to the quiet banks of the Jordan and the timeless Nile, a universal human story unfolds. The details differ, but the quest is the same: meaning, purity, and connection to something greater. Sacred rivers are focal points where the veil between physical and spiritual thins, offering moments of insight and peace. Pilgrimage is a physical expression of an inner journey, a step toward the extraordinary. These rivers unite people from all backgrounds, dissolving differences in shared reverence. They are not just religious sites, but part of humanity's shared heritage, ecosystems, histories, and sources of awe. By honoring these rivers, we nurture our own capacity for wonder and respect. In their gentle flow, we glimpse our own unending search for peace.